Diversity, inclusion, every brand's got to think about that. Yeah, every brand's got to do that. What are you seeing in the real world?
Yeah, I think, historically it's been quite big in the US. I think in Europe it's been slower to come up.
Right, surprising.
Yeah, but talking to the team at ISBA, they're saying that they are finding it's probably creeping above sustainability, which I was quite surprised about. Sometimes the bias of when you're doing a pitch list, for example, taking the UK, and the same could be true of the States, for example, could be very London-centric or could be very New York-centric.
Yeah.
And actually, exactly as you said, if you're marketing to a diverse audience, to have that breadth of talent,
you've got to have that on your team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have heard of some clients that are doing, non-London pitches, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a brilliant role that marketing procurement should be leading on.
And should be measuring. I mean, one of the questions that I get is how do you check for that diversity on that plan, doing your work? And it doesn't seem to go down to that level. It seems to be, in some respects, a tick box exercise. Yes, we're an inclusive company, but there's no real checks after that. It's one of those things that kind of gets lost.
I think you're right there, Ian. I think that is true. Still on a pitch, it's 5%.
Yeah.
One hopes that will increase alongside sustainability. And actually, it's got to be better than that, hasn't it, in terms of...
You need to go back and ask the question again. It's great, we've won the pitch, we're doing the work. Okay, now you're doing the work and your credentials of the pitch said you were, this and this. I think, and I think this is where marketing procurement can play that role, and they can come back and say, "Oh, we're the people who are going to come in and check that periodically."
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for me, the biggest call out is when you're doing a pitch in the first place and getting that diversity. So I think that is a big role. But I think you're right. Is once you say you've committed to, this X percentage of these people, how is that going? And putting the onus back on agencies.
How are you measuring it? So obviously you've got to have the right mix of people in any company, I think.
Yeah. What about women-owned businesses? Do you get asked about that at all? I mean, I think especially in the States, that is quite a big thing.
I think that sort of thing, women-owned, are big things at conferences. If I'm honest, people will talk about it at industry events. In the real world, am I seeing it at every brand? No, but I think in any school of thought, diversity is a good thing. If we focus on marketing procurement, diversity can take many forms. Whether it be how work's produced, or the people working on the work, or the market. Making sure you're using diverse markets. I think that's the interesting piece. There's lots of factors around it, but I think marketing procurement are sort of good people to lead that charge, and they should lead the charge for diversity.
It's time for marketing procurement to step out of the shadows and take ownership of a role that has the potential to deliver so much more. This is your moment to rise, to lead, to reframe what's possible. You are the future of marketing procurement.